In 2 seasons with the ULM Warhawks, Coach Bryant Vincent has got them off to fast starts. Hasn't figured out how to finish yet. Can he do it in year 3? Locked on Sunbelt.
You are Locked on Sunbelt, your daily podcast on the Sunbelt Conference, part of the Locked on Podcast Network, your team every day.
Hello, everybody. David Schultz. Welcome back to another edition of Locked on Sunbelt, your teams every day. Today's episode brought to you by Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code Locked On for $20 off your first purchase. All right, let's talk ULM Warhawks. We talk Sunbelt rivalries. We talk weapons for Aiden Armenta. We talk about finishing. Can you do that as well? And remember, Bryant Vincent was the AD when the season started last year. So he needs to just relax and be a football coach here in 2026. Vincent brought with him senior linebacker Noah Flemings and senior offensive lineman AJ Vinson. They are the ULM Warhawks. They were on day 2 of Sunbelt Media Days, and they're locked on Sunbelt.
Dave Schultz, Locked on Sunbelt, your teams every day. We're here, Sunbelt Media Days, day 2. It is West Day, and so that we're bringing in our buddy Bryant Vincent from the ULM Warhawks in year 3. All right, as I mentioned to the players, you guys have had strong starts, Coach. You started out 5-1, had some big wins. Didn't get another win that year. Couldn't go to a bowl game. Started out last year 3-1, now on a losing streak again. How do you guys make that, move from strong starts to strong finishes?
Obviously, like you said, we've started fast for years, but we've got to be able to finish. In any successful, it's not how you start. How you start is key, but it's how you finish that really determines the season that you have, and that's something that we've talked about, and that's something that you've got to train that way. In everything we do, it's how we start, it's how we finish. It's whether how we enter the weight room, how we finish the weight workout, how we start team run, how we finish team run. It's everything you do. It's got to be habits. The only way you can get better at finishing, if that's your weakness, is to finish everything you do, and you got to do it daily. So the closest thing we've got until we put the pads on is how we train. So how we train from start to finish is the key, and that's a big motto for us this year is FTF. Finish it, finish the fight. Finish.
What was that?
FTF. Finish the fight.
I got to write down all these acronyms. Everybody came up with acronyms. Well, Josh Dallas has got 30 of them.
If you sit there, but if you put it under the microscope, we have started fast, but we've got to finish. And what were the things that prevented us from finishing? And you put all those under the microscope, and you look at it, and then you make those adjustments and those improvements, and you grind it daily, to chase those results.
Right. I asked Jared Parker this from Troy. Starts to settle in year 3, right? It's a whole different thing. Like Dowell Loggins admitted he was nervous last year coming to this. Hadn't done it yet. You're now in year 3. Have you? And then last year you just decided to be AD at the same time as the head football coach because you weren't busy enough being the head football coach. What's it like now? You don't have to worry about being AD. We got SJ Tui as the guy in charge. That you're just focusing on football. Have you been able to settle in as the head football coach for the ULM Warhawks?
I have, absolutely. Like you said, you go through year 1, and that year 1 you're starting a nutrition program. You're getting equipment. You're fixing the facilities. You're doing all the things to really get this program off the ground, and then you go into year 2 and you become interim AD the fall camp.
Right.
And that was something that obviously the athletic director job is a massive job. And
did you realize how big it was? You've been around football a long time in college athletics. Did you realize how big it was before you took it over?
I did not.
Right.
I really don't know until you're in it. You think because you're on the outside looking in, but when you're in it, you realize, because every sport has needs, and every sport has everybody's building their own program, and they've all got things that they've got to get done. So you go in, you dig in, and the thing it did, it created alignment, and it really created a togetherness on campus throughout all the athletes. And I'm a relational guy. The relationship with Molly in softball, Ford in baseball, Scotty in women's basketball, in soccer, and what it did, I think it really brought all of our athletes together, and you saw each other really support supporting at the softball games, and our girls won the regular season conference championship. Ford in baseball, all our guys are in left field, and we had the most wins that we've had, I think, since 20.
I mean, Ford got off to a great start, then he got kicked out, and then it went downhill from there. But he got off to a tremendous start.
He did, and he's the right guy. He's the right guy for the job, and it takes a village. It takes everybody. It takes the town, the president. Dr. Carrie Castile, who is a special leader, right. And I can't say enough good things about her leadership and her energy. And championships, I believe this, they start in the middle.
Come from the top down, sure.
Come from the top.
Right.
And, she was here a year this last June, and man, just the difference, the electricity and the energy and the things that she has done in 12 months is incredible. And she loves athletics and she loves academics the same, and she wants to build this university the same passion and drive that I have.
Talking to Bryant Vincent, head coach of the ULM Warhawks, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. I'm your host, Dave Schultz. All right, let's talk about some weapons for Aiden Armenta. Not only offensive line, but who he's handing the ball off and who he's throwing to.
If you start in the receiver room, the receiver position is something that I think we've underperformed, and that's all on me. But I think our receiver room is the best it's ever been. I think you go from Nick Trujillo, to Parker Fulgham, to J.P. Coulter, who's back, to Marcellus Jackson, to LT, to Blanton, to Buck. I mean, the depth.
When you start listing off 5 or 6 guys, you're in good shape.
Yeah. And they're all unique. They're all different. They all bring a different, skill set to that room. So I think we have explosiveness. We have guys that can stretch the field, guys that can make people miss, guys that can get open.
Right.
Versus man coverage.
That 3rd and 4 first down, right?
Tough, and you got to have those guys. And we lost, our 2 best guys the same day, or 2 starters last year in fall camp when Nick and Buck, we both got them hurt back-to-back plays and lost them for weeks. I think Nick came back.
Did you stop practice at that point in time? We can't afford to lose anybody else.
It was a red zone drill, and it was back-to-back plays, and they were both touchdowns.
Practice is over.
So guys, that's it. Bring it up.
That's it. Yeah.
It's the 105 roster limit is real.
Yeah.
And it really came out last year. You're sitting there and you got that limit. How you build your roster now is different. And I can promise you this: we're going to have more than 2 kickers.
Well, I was going to say, any of those. That was the next question. Any of the wide receivers, can they kick just in case?
Everybody was trying to kick last year, but it's just that's what we went through, and we owned it and we fixed it, and now we feel like we've got 3 really capable guys that are really good.
Let's take a timeout. We'll come back and continue and wrap up our conversation with the head coach of the ULM Warhawks, Bryant Vincent. We talk about having healthy kickers. We talk about the defense, and how about that rivalry down the road with Louisiana Tech. We'll do that after I tell you about Game Time. There are more live events than ever worth seeing right now. Games, concerts, comedy shows, festivals. The hard part usually isn't deciding what you want to attend. It's actually getting the tickets. Between long wait times, confusing checkout processes, and surprise fees, buying tickets can sometimes feel harder than it should. That's why so many fans are turning to Game Time. The app is built to make buying tickets simple, with upfront pricing, seat views before you buy, and exclusive savings opportunities that help you get to the events you want to without the usual hassle. My biggest pet peeve is when you think you found a great deal, get all the way to checkout, and suddenly the final price looks completely different. Game Time takes the guesswork out. Take the guesswork out of buying tickets for every type of event with Game Time. Download the Game Time app, create an account, and use code LOCKEDON for $20 off your first purchase. Terms apply. Again, create an account and redeem code LOCKEDON for $20 off. Download the Game Time app today. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let's wrap up our conversation with the head coach of the ULM Warhawks, Bryant Vincent. We talk about, among other things, what was it like being AD and football coach all at the same time?
I guess how frustrating is that, right? Because the best game you played all year probably was against the Cajuns, and you probably should have won it if you had a healthy kicker.
Obviously, you go back to the Troy game, it's 10-8, and we're inside the 12, and we can't kick it. We miss a field goal, and then we're back down there again right before the half, and we got to go for it on 4th and 9.
Right.
So it kind of showed its head throughout the season, and it's tough, man. It really changed the game plan, how you call it.
Sure.
Because you're only going to attempt an extra point, and you are holding your breath on the extra point. Right. But man, when you're inside the 18, I think we were 16 times, and you got to go for it. So 3rd and 8 is really not 3rd and 8. It's you got 2 downs,
right?
And we weren't successful. We were very poor in the red zone last year, and second to last in the country.
Oh boy!
It goes that we kicked 1 field goal, but at the end of the day, we should have scored touchdowns.
There you go.
You should have scored touchdowns. We shouldn't have put ourselves in that situation, but you learn from it, you grow from it, and you bring those wars and those battle scars and with you this offseason and into this new season.
Talking with Bryant Vincent, head coach of the ULM Warhawks, day 2 of Sunbelt Media Days. All right, what about defense? Because you've had some pretty good defenses in there the first couple of years.
I really like this defense. I think it all starts, inside. I think we've got an extremely talented, experienced inside linebacker core with Noah Flemings and Marcus Ross, 2 starters coming back that I think are as good as anybody in this league. And then you've got TJ Williams and Kelby Holmes and Ricky Banks and, Lazarius Amos. We've got great depth there. Up front, we've really got one guy coming back. That's James Smith on the defensive line. So we've got an entirely new makeover up front. But I really like the guys we brought in. I got CJ Wilson. You've got CJ Wilson. You've got Marvin Hall. You've got Derek Omareji, who's 6'5", 260, that tore his ACL the first day of spring last year. The injuries and the lack of, but I think we've got the right guys up front. I think we're 3 deep across. Our back end, Jabari Tiller's back at our middle safety. He's one of the leaders with Noah and Marcus and Kelby and them inside. And Carl Fontroy's back. I think we're 2 deep at safety, up to 3. I think this is the most depth we've had at corner. We've got 5 corners. I don't think we play.
Can you rotate corners? Do you rotate the corners?
You can. Okay. If they're good enough, you can. And
okay.
If they're good enough,
because you rotate defensive linemen.
You do.
But corners usually don't get rotated, and there's a slot guy, but other than that.
But I think the competition and the level of play that we're getting from our corners, we're going to have to play them because they deserve to play.
All right.
And then in the game, I think it'll kind of solidify itself.
Sure. And then, it's not the worst thing in the world to give one guy a break, and that's how you build depth.
Correct.
You can only do it so much in practice.
Correct. I think that with the 105, you start to see, and you saw it last year, it's the survival of the fittest. Who's left standing in the end, and the more experience you can get at all your positions that's deserving, I think the better off you're going to be.
All right, to wrap things up with the head coach of the ULM Warhawks, Bryant Vincent, La Tech coming in right behind you. Monroe was kind of the driving force in getting La Tech in, besides La Tech, I should say. And how much fun is it going to be? It's a rivalry. It's right down the road. Maybe we're going to get I-20 T-shirts made up or something like that. Do we have a name for the game? I saw someone who wants to do the Governor's Cup between ULM, La Tech, and UL. Do we have a name for the game yet? Right, you need to trademark that first and foremost. Get it done, whatever we want to call it.
I think they're in the midst of all that right now.
Right.
So, but President Castile was really for this. She fought for it. She wanted it. From day one that I've gotten on campus, I've heard about the rivalry of La Tech.
Yeah.
And La Tech. And I think it's incredible. It's great for both communities, both universities. We're going to bring a lot of excitement, a lot of renewed tradition, renewed rivalry, just 20 minutes down the road.
How crazy is that?
I mean, why not? Why would we not be playing each other? Just the fan bases and the excitement and just college football, what it's going to do for Northeast Louisiana, I think it's awesome. And I'm really excited about it.
And now you have the rivalry trying to recruit, right? I know that doesn't make it easier, but makes it more challenging, and you guys like a challenge.
Oh, absolutely. I mean,
more guys probably stay home too now.
Because you think about this, the football in Northeast Louisiana, I think 4 of the state champions the last 2 years has come from really a 45 to 60 mile radius. So when those guys and those kids come and they are at that game,
right,
and they see that environment,
right,
I think you're just going to have more guys that want to grow up and they want to play in that game. And we've been missing that for so many years, and now to have it back and to be a part of it, it's going to be incredible.
He's Bryant Vincent. He's the head coach of the ULM Warhawks. Always gracious with his time when we need him. He is locked on Sunbelt. Really appreciate your time, Coach. Best of luck this season. We'll talk to you again, hopefully soon.
Thanks, Dave. Go Warhawks. Appreciate you.
Let's take one more timeout. We'll come back and talk to the ULM Warhawk players, linebacker Noah Flemings and offensive lineman AJ Vinson, on how they can do a better job of finishing after getting off to such great starts early on in the season. We'll do that after I thank you. Almost up to 3140 in subscriptions. We could have that by the time I wake up Thursday morning. So again, it's going to be very close to get it to 3,200 by the time we open up Labor Day weekend, not that week 0 stuff. All right. Labor Day weekend, the goal is to have 3,200, the first full week of college football subscribers. So please let people know about Locked On Sunbelt on YouTube. Don't forget about the audio podcast as well on Apple and Spotify. You can find it anywhere you get podcasts, but those are by far the two most popular. And if you are interested in sponsoring the podcast or my daily videos, please let me know. Be happy to work something out with you. All right. It is available. Let's wrap up our conversation with the ULM Warhawks right after this. All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day. Let's talk to the players from the ULM Warhawks. You do have Noah Flemings, linebacker, offensive lineman AJ Vinson, and can they finish strong enough to get to a bowl game in 2026?
All right, Dave Schultz, Locked On Sunbelt, your teams every day, continuing day 2 of Sunbelt Media Days. We got Noah Flemings and AJ Vinson from ULM. Noah, tell us about your journey to ULM. How did you find the Warhawks and Bryant Vincent?
They came to me during JUCO. I spent 2 years at Trinity Valley, and just talking to Coach V, he was really animated about bringing me here. So I chose to come and been home ever since.
I mean, you're Phil Steele, preseason Sunbelt first team, Athlon preseason Sunbelt first team. How do you go from junior college to now being preseason all Sunbelt?
Just hard work, and then all the people that I'm surrounded with are just believing in me, and I do it for my family, so them encouraging me to do better and be great, and just kind of help me make myself better.
What were you good at when you came out of high school, and what are you better at now?
I would say just coming out of high school, being sideline to sideline, really just running around. Now I'm way better at just recognizing, formations, different, whatever it is, whether it's formations or what play they finna do at this exact time, and just down the distance, things like that.
Sounds like work smarter, not harder.
Yes, sir.
There you go. All right. How can, and we'll ask, AJ this and the coach, you guys have gotten off to great starts, and maybe even before you got there, right? Bryant Vincent started out 5-1, ends up on a losing streak. Started out the season last year 3-1, ends up on a losing streak. How can we take those strong starts and make them strong finishes?
Just by the mentality of it, just knowing that the job's not done, whether it's the first or the last game, to always finish through. There's 4 quarters each game, so just finishing through.
You guys have been they've been very good on defense. The first year, especially last year, kind of was an offensive issue. What's it like when you guys get stops on defense?
Exciting, knowing that stopping team and know we can just continue to do it, and that's really just it. Just exciting and just easing on the mind.
As the linebacker, what's your job on the defense? Your specific role?
Mine's leading, whether it's by example or vocally, and just knowing everybody's assignment. So there might be a guy or two out there who might not know specifically what they got or just how to do it. So just being the quarterback of the defense.
So the problem is on defense, when one guy doesn't know what the assignment is, as the coaches say, that's usually when the band starts playing. So how do you know everyone's assignment? How do you know the slot corner's assignment along with, the nose tackle? We all know his assignment. But how do you know everybody's assignment, especially when you got to know your assignment?
Just long hours with our defense coordinator, Coach Ref. Just whether him film, making sure that we know everybody's assignment, just so that it makes our jobs easier. And again, just also talking to everybody on the defensive side. Just I got got this when this happens, and just everybody communicating.
It is tough to win in Monroe. It is a little bit of a odd home field advantage just because the fans haven't come out there, although they have lately when Vincent is the coach, because teams don't know what it's like. They got to create their own juice, right? A lot of times when you guys go on the road and you silence the crowd, that gives you juice. When there's no crowd to silence, you can win some games in Monroe. And what are these rivalries like now? You got La Tech, you got the banner behind us, South Alabama, the Cajuns. What's it like having those rivalries now in the Sun Belt?
Excited. Everything we do is for the fans and then the team too. So I know, especially for our community, it's exciting. We hear it all the time. Beat La Tech or beat whoever. So it's going to be exciting. It's going to bring a different type of environment to ULM.
Yeah. So that's the kind of excitement that Bryant Vincent has brought, right? I mean, a couple of big wins. I think they beat JMU or Texas State. Kind of had some big wins in there. What's that like? Because it has been a minute, since has it been? It's been a long time since ULM's had a winning record.
Yeah, just keeping it going. Like I said, we got a lot of doubters, a lot of people not believing in us, but we just focus on self, continue to be better as a team.
All right, let's bring in AJ Vinson, offensive lineman. You two, junior college guy. How'd you find your way to La Tech?
Coming out of Garden City, Kansas, Coach V had sent me a text and came on a visit. I had to trust in his word and everything, so it made me have a decision to come to ULM.
What did you like about ULM?
I liked it, the environment. I love the way Coach V had spoke to me that day and everything, and I just believe that my coach Cam Blankenship and everything like that.
What were you good at coming out of school, and what are you better at now?
Coming out of school,
coming out of high school, yeah.
Coming out of high school, just running my feet and everything, just running around. But now I'm good at pass pro and all that.
How much have you gotten bigger? I presume you've grown a little bit. What was the dimensions in high school, and what are they now?
I'm about 260 in high school. Now I'm at 302. It's big.
All muscle?
Yes, sir.
How do you put on 40 pounds of muscle? Because I'm good at putting on the 40 pounds of fat.
Just eat right.
What do you give up? What are you giving up that you're? What are you eating that you can put on 40 pounds of just muscles? That's just all steak and chicken and fish.
Yeah, most of the day I just gave up all the sweets and everything.
Did you? All right. What's your favorite sweet?
Back then, probably red velvet cake.
You get a lot of Red Devil cake? Is that you get that from mom or something like that? Where's the Red Devil cake coming from? The store? You go shopping for Red Devil cake? That's awesome. It's good, but
now my mom usually make it every time I.
Oh, she makes it.
Yeah.
Oh, all right. Talking with AJ Vinson and Noah Flemings, ULM Warhawks, Locked On Sunbelt, your team every day. All right, I'll ask you the same thing that I asked Noah. You guys have had strong starts. How do we finish strong?
I say we just need to stay consistent and stay on our road, and we'll be straight.
All right. One of the things that's been an issue is protecting Aiden Armenta, quarterback, and having more weapons. A couple of years ago, they had Ahmad Hardy, could run the ball, but needed to be able to pass it as well. How do we protect Aiden to give him a little bit more time to find those weapons downfield?
Just take the practicing. That's all we need.
What was that?
Just taking all the practices.
Okay. All right. And what are your expectations this year for ULM?
Most definitely make a bowl game.
All right. He is AJ Vinson. He is Noah Flemings. They are the ULM Warhawks, and they are Locked On Sunbelt. Thanks so much, guys, and thanks for hopping on.